Hello, my dear children. Hope you can remember. I promise you that I will help you to learn another lesson in the data representation and interpretation when we were discussing histogram lesson. According to my promise, today I am going to teach you about a frequency polygon. After learning this lesson, you will learn what is a frequency polygon, what is the connection between the frequency polygon and the histogram, and also how to construct a frequency polygon. First of all, what is a frequency polygon? Anyone know the answer for that? Okay, good. Some of you know, right? Okay, frequency polygon is a graphical representation of group data. It is similar to a histogram, but instead of rectangular columns in the histogram, here we have straight line segments. Straight line segments are used to construct a frequency polygon. If you can recall what we have learned about histogram, area of rectangular columns are proportional to the frequency. Therefore, we learn that total area of all rectangles added up to the total frequency of data distribution. Similar to that, area under these straight line segments of a frequency polygon also equal to the total frequency of the distribution. Okay, now you know what is a frequency polygon and properties of a frequency polygon. Next, we are going to learn how to construct a frequency polygon. Children, there are two methods to construct frequency polygons. Method 1, from the histogram of the frequency distribution. The second, from the mid-values and the frequencies of the class intervals. In this lesson, I am going to teach you both in detail, step by step. Method 1, how to construct a frequency polygon from the histogram. In the next page, sequence of steps are given, which we have to follow when construct a frequency polygon using a histogram. Now, pause this video and read it carefully and try to understand these steps. I guess you have read it carefully. Now from here, we are going to follow all these steps that you have read while ago. A data distribution is given here with equal size class interval and frequencies. The first step, draw the histogram relevant to the given information. Since we have learned how to construct a histogram, I am not going to explain it again. However, it is easy to construct a histogram because the given data distribution has the same size class intervals. Okay, the second step, in each column in the histogram, we have to mark the midpoint on the top of the column using a cross sign. Let's do it together. The midpoint of the class interval of 0 to 10 is 5, 10 to 20 is 15, 20 to 30 is 25, 30 to 40 is 35, and 40 to 50 is 45. Then next, we'll join these points using a straight edge. After joining these points, the shape we got is not a polygon because it is open. We know if it is a polygon, it should be a closed figure. So we have to make it as a polygon. To do this, we can join the initial midpoint of 0 to 10, that is 5, to the midpoint of the class interval, which is left to the 0 to 10 class interval, that is -5. In the next end, we can take the midpoint of the class interval, which is next to the 40 to 50 class interval, that is 55. Now join the first midpoint of the first column with -5 and the midpoint of the last column with 55. Now you can see it is a polygon. This is a line graph and it is a closed plane figure with all the straight lines and with the x-axis. And it illustrates frequencies of the data distribution. Therefore, we call this is a frequency polygon. Hope that you can remember the second example of the histogram lesson. If you have not watched that video of histogram lesson, better to watch it before follow this lesson. It will help you to understand this lesson easily and comprehensively. In that example, we had two issues to fix. Number one, there's a gap between the upper limit of the class interval and the lower limit of the next class interval. And the second, scale on the x-axis started from 130. We learn to draw a histogram by fixing these two issues. Once constructed a histogram using the same steps, we can construct a frequency polygon. Here, the first class interval is 129.5 and 134.5. So mark the midpoints which are left to the first class interval and right to the last class interval. By joining them, you can obtain a respective frequency polygon. Now, we are going to learn how to construct a frequency polygon for the unequal size class intervals. We have learned how to construct a histogram for the unequal size class intervals with previous lesson. Using that knowledge, first you construct the histogram. Next, mark the mid-values of each column on the top of the bars. The smallest class width of this distribution is 10. First 5 class intervals maintaining this class width, but 50 to 70 the class width is 20 and 70 to 100 the class width is 30. However, we have to consider 50 to 70 class interval consists with 2 columns, that is 50 to 60 and 60 to 70, and 70 to 100 class interval consists with 3 columns, since the smallest class width of this distribution is 10. Okay, now we have to plot the mid values of each columns on the top of each bar. Also remember to get the mid value of the class interval which is left to the first class interval 0 to 10 and the midpoint of the class interval which is right to the last class interval 70 to 100. So now you can join all the points with the straight edge. Negative 5, 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95 and 105. Well, hope you understand this first method, construct frequency polygon using histogram. Right. The next method is construct a frequency polygon from the mid values and the frequencies of the given class intervals. Fine. Pause the video, read the steps that you have to follow to get the frequency polygon in this method. Later we'll discuss with the example. Okay, now we will follow those steps that you have read to get the frequency polygon using the mid values of the class interval. First, find the mid values of the class intervals given. 0 to 10 is 5, 10 to 20 is 15, 20 to 30, 25, 30 to 40, 35, 40 to 50, 45. Then next, we have to mark the mid values of the class interval and the frequencies on the horizontal axis and the vertical axis respectively. Then next, we have to pair the coordinates. Okay, so the mid value of the class interval and the respective frequency. So first one, 5, 4. Alright, then mark that point with the cross. 15, 5, then mid value 25 and frequency is 12, 25, 12, 35, 7, 45, 3. Okay, we marked all. Now next we need to remember we have to mark mid value of the class interval which is left to the first class interval and also the mid value of the class interval which is right to the last class interval, -5 and 55. Then we can join these points respectively. Okay, we have come to the end of the session. Hope you understand all about frequency polygon, how to construct frequency polygon using histogram and also using the mid values and the frequencies of the class intervals, and also area under this straight line segments, that means area of the frequency polygon is equal to the total frequencies of the distribution like histogram. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoy with this video and learn everything what I try to explain. Good luck!